Spoilers. Duh. You fucking...
Hey guys, welcome to the AM Review. We've been wanting to do a series like this for a while now, and a couple of you guys were actually suggesting it, so here we are. Ace, what legendary movie are we reviewing today?
We're reviewing Killer Bean Forever. Pew pew. Like, fireworks going up. Just imagine it, alright?
Fireworks.
Pew.
Just to be there in the moment. Imagine the fireworks shooting off.
Just the vibes.
Air horns. The vibes from this movie.
The vibes.
But yeah, Killer Bean Forever, produced, edited, and written all by Jeff Liu, and 95% of the characters are voiced by him. And it's an amazing movie found on YouTube. But before we get started, here's a little compilation of our favorite scenes from Killer Bean Forever.
I'll still get the job done. I'll get him.
We're running out of time. He has to know you're coming by now. Remember who he is.
Yeah, I know what the mission is.
Then stick to it. Don't be so reckless, Killer Bean.
I'll call you when I got him. Reckless. Reckless my brown bean ass.
It is time to lay off a few beans!
Oh! Wait. I have a question.
Yes.
Will I be eligible for unemployment?
Let me check with the finance department on that, okay?
My social security number is 3, 4...
It was easy. You were just reckless.
The way I see it, you're the one who's being reckless. You come out here looking for me by yourself. You didn't bring anyone to back you up. That's reckless.
Here's my backup.
That's a nice gun. Wanna see mine?
Oh, by the way, Megan? You're fired!
Ta-da!
Yep. Hope you guys enjoyed that. But yeah, so we've been wanting to record a of course, when I record, I can't speak. We've been wanting to record a movie review series for a while now, and we're still figuring out how we want to format this series. So it may change from time to time. We may not do the same things and how we structure, how we talk about it. But if we don't get off track, our base organization of this new series is we'll go through our favorite lines, favorite scenes, and then our final thoughts, which will mainly be our discussion of the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ace, read off some of your favorite lines.
Alright then. My favorite lines are... My first one, I only have really 2 to 3, which, my first one is, "I'm going to turn you into bean custard." That was my first one, alright? And that was by, Grunt 386, I think it was. Really awesome character development on that character. Not being ironic at all. He should have had more screen time. RIP Grunt 389. I think that was the number I said. I don't know. Alright. 5. That was the number I said. Alright. And my second favorite line is by Killer Bean. All right. I wrote killer really weirdly in my phone, so I had to squint to look at it, and it was like Kilar. So, I was going really fast because I was enjoying the movie. That was a really passionate, like a very passionate line. I just really felt like enveloped into the movie when I heard that line. I connected with him on a spiritual level. Like, I do that as well. I go,
Your third eye just opened up.
My third eye did open, alright? Now, EXO, I want to hear your lines, alright? Let me hear them.
Of course. I have written down several of such classic lines as Reckless, my brown bean ass, and, what do you want me to do? And someone responding saying, oh, nothing, just send him a box of chocolates and say thanks for the memories. Which, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. And then one from Killer Bean in one of his epic response to like a situation, he's like, that's for me to know and you not to know. And let's see, I think this other line was in the same scene. As he was heading out, he flushes a toilet and he apologizes to the bar owner. He's in a bar, I should have mentioned that. He's like, sorry, it was a double flusher. And then the bartender's like, what? You only flushed once. And then he just walks away.
He rolls his eyes and he walks
and
away.
At the end of yeah, just like initiate cool guy mode, walks out of bar. that oh gosh. And my final line is decaffeinated. Now that sounds very insignificant, but when you watch the movie and you see the epic fight scene that precedes it, and I do mean epic in all senses of the word, any way you can interpret it, in ironic or unironic way, the epic fight scene that you see, he ends it with decaffeinated. And I mean, it's a bean pun, which is great. There's so many bean puns in this movie, but of course. But yeah, that sums up my favorite lines of the movie. Now here we're gonna transition to favorite scene. So Ace, talk about some of your favorite scenes from this legendary movie.
One of my favorite, actually favorite scenes. I'm not even joking. This isn't a joke right now. It's not like the joke that I made before, where it's like, oh, I can. Both of those two lines were jokes, but my favorite actual scene in the movie is where Vegan or Dark Bean, I can't remember the name, is
same difference.
I think they're the same people. I don't know, but Vegan and Killer Bean are having a showdown, and the guy that hired Vegan, he walks away because he has nothing to defend himself, and he says one last thing to Vegan. He says, "Vegan," he goes, "You're fired." Really loudly, and then non-instantaneously, Vegan pulls a gun out and shoots him. It was one of the most... let me just tell you this. We both screamed like apes when this happened.
Yeah.
My parents...
I confirm.
My parents came in a while afterwards. I had to mute my mic. My parents came in, and they were like, what the fuck are you screaming at? And I said Vegan or not Vegan, but... Cappuccino just died.
Cappuccino. It's amazing, as you're telling the story of different parts of the movie, I'm not correcting you, but I'm I know, we just know these things about this movie because we're so, we felt so involved with it. We enjoyed it way more. I enjoyed it, I personally think, but I do think we both enjoyed it way more than we expected we would, because it's almost like we've become experts of the movie and the characters. We're oh well, it was that, it was this. As you're talking about it, I'm interrupting, saying, oh, it was this, but it never crosses my mind why should I know that? Why am I so detailed, and why do I have so much knowledge of this movie when I'm having trouble?
Why do I want to know more about this lore?
My wallet or something. The deep lore of the Shadow Bean Agency. That There needs to be like a book or like a
A
prequel
wiki page.
of just the Shadow Agency.
Wiki page.
Wiki page. The Beantown Shadow Agency that worked with the government. Okay. So
My second
yeah, that basically sums it up.
Yeah, my second favorite scene of the movie is where Killer Bean and the assassin that was sent by the Shadow Bean Agency was like, they were both showing down. And Killer Bean takes out his gun, and he tries to shoot the assassin a few times. It doesn't work, and the assassin's like, you've already tried that, oh. So, he takes a bullet out of his gun. I don't know if you noticed this, Alex, but it said, this bullet was made for vegan. So, you know how in the first scene, Killer Bean's shell casings were signed? Like, this bullet doesn't belong to you. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That
was one of the first few. That was the opening scene.
Yeah, the one that he pulled out said this one's for vegan or some shit like that. But it said it was for vegan. So he takes the bullet, he throws it up in the air. He shoots at the assassin a few times to get his attention. And then he takes his gun, shoots at the bullet he threw up into the air. It gets him in his bean gun.
His bean gun.
Fucking awesome. Fucking delicious. Eggs on toast.
Eggs on toast.
Eggs on toast.
That the choreography of like all the fighting scenes really just made the movie in multiple ways. Yeah. Any other scenes you want to talk about?
Nope. That's about it. What are your scenes, good sir?
I think one of my favorite. It was weird because this movie takes so many like it goes from comedic to like serious, but then like throughout the movie you almost forget the premise that you're watching a movie about animated beans in a place called Beantown.
Wait, was it called Beantown?
And towards the middle of the movie, you almost just forget it. Yeah, it was Beantown. I don't know, why do I know this? I don't know. But when you get into the movie, you kind of forget the premise a little bit because suddenly you're like involved in the story, like you're watching it religiously all of a sudden. But it's when it takes like a little comedic turn where Cappuccino, the big gang boss, the big bad, he's in this building like giving a lecture to his goons, like why are my weapon sales not going up when my drug sales are going up, and they're not listening. He's like, some of you guys don't value your jobs, and he grabs a bat. And he like knocks them out of the like a 10-story or 20-story building, and they just like fall out, and like no one's reacting to it in the way they should. They're like, oh, and he knocks out this guy out of the building. He's about to knock this one guy out, and the guy's like, wait, I have a question. He's like, okay. He's like, will I be eligible for unemployment? And then Cappuccino's like, I don't know. I'll have to ask my financial department. And then he knocks him out of the building, and as he's falling out, he's like, my social security number is 06. And then like, I don't know. It's one of those few scenes you find in a movie that makes you legitimately laugh.
Did you realize he had a bat holder near his TV?
Yeah, it was right on the TV, but I don't know. Maybe it's the way that like they use the Jeff Liu. Like he's very great at setting up cinematic shots, which is such a weird skill to be employed in this type of movie, but like it really helps the movie. It really adds the movie for a bean movie. But yeah, what was I talking about? Oh, I don't know if it's because he changed like the focus of like behind, like focused on Cappuccino, that like the blurry background like kind of aided your eye away from seeing the bat till like you needed to. But like, yeah, it was hilarious. My second favorite scene was the super ultra mega testosterone generating scene between Cromwell and Killer Bean. Cromwell's the police
detective.
The
one where they
when they're in the bar.
Yeah, that was the one where he was like, that's a double flusher, right?
That's a double flusher. Yeah. They're sitting there and they're like, Killer Bean just watched something on the news about like the whole mess he's made in the city, and he sees Cromwell being interviewed, and then Cromwell walks in hiding his badge, pretending to be just a guy. And like they had like this like like this cool exchange of like them like upholding their masculinity, like, oh, so how about this, and like, oh, how about this, and like it's a testosterone off, basically. It's
Testosterone off.
it's well written. Yeah, that's the new thing, the new trend. But like, you know, he's like hey, isn't it illegal for police officers to drink during the day? And he's like, huh, how'd you know it was me? And then like, I don't know, I'm not gonna go through the entire scene, but it's hilarious, but at the same time you're like, oh crap, oh snap, like, oh my gosh, like you're what's the word for it? You're really interested in what's gonna happen. Like you're on the edge of your seat, even though it's like this goofy animated movie. You're like, oh my gosh, because you don't want to admit it at first, but like you're actually following the story.
It's
but,
such a masterpiece. Yeah. It is.
Yeah, that's pretty much masterpiece, legendary. It's on YouTube. You guys can watch it right now.
The movie is like.
That's about all my favorite scenes.
Okay, so this is where we'd segue into not our review portion, but our building up to the review portion. So let's just have fun with the movie. We'll treat it like a podcast right now. Yeah.
Basically.
Well, let's see. All right. This movie is honestly one of the best. It was directed, or not directed, I wouldn't say directed, but it was made 10 years ago by one person. That one person is Jeff Liu, the guy who worked on The Matrix and the Transformers cinematics. Alright? This guy has talent. If you haven't seen Killer Bean, go watch it. You fucking anomalous wreck of a human being. The only reason why you would be sitting reason why you would be sitting here watching a Killer Bean review is if you're an anomalous wreck of it. So go watch it. Go. I don't want you here anymore. My closing thoughts.
Someone's gonna click on the pause the video and it's like, wow, fine. And then like they'll open the new tab and watch the movie and then go back to the review like, oh, he'll never know. He'll never know I wasn't watching it yet. But final thoughts. I'd like to point out, and I think this is true with about everybody who watches or even talks about the movie. They'll watch it through this lens of irony, like, oh, it's a funny movie, goofy movie, haha. They watch it for the ironic value, but then slowly
they get more enticed
through the turns of, they get enticed. That's a good word for it. They get enticed by the comedy, by the story, which at first you're like, oh, this is done before, but then really you're so involved with the story that you're like, wow, this is good. And the movie demonstrates a really good ability to make you feel things. And throughout the movie, it's obvious that like passion was put into setting up the cinematic shots, the animation. Like it's remarkable. Like, there's a goofy ragdoll scene, but really everything else, it's amazing. Like, this feels like a well-produced, well thought out, passion-filled project. The script, like Ace said, the script, most of the voice acting, animation, all done by Jeff Liu himself. And that includes, the music. The music. What did you think of the music?
The music was really well produced. I'm pretty sure it was just like random. Maybe it was random music. I don't know. It might have been Jeff Liu's own creation or somebody else's creation that Jeff Liu, had as a friend, and he was like, hey buddy, can you make some sounds for this Killer Bean animation I'm working on? And they were like, hell yeah, that sounds like a badass movie, let me in. But the music really played into the scenes. You know how, like, when you're about to fight a boss in Dark Souls, or any game in that matter, you step into the ring, and then all of a sudden this choir music starts playing to know that you're about to have this really intense moment? That was Killer Bean's music, alright? It wasn't exactly choir music, but it was music to tell you that shit's about to go down.
Yeah, Like, it was a mixture of guitar, like synth wave type music, and it was well, like the percussion in the music was great, like placement to like make you notice subconsciously like a shift in like tension, and like the I don't know, like the fight scenes, of course, great music. And then at first, you listen to in the beginning you listen to I don't know, I'm going to assume that is what the name of the song is, but Killer Bean's main theme in the beginning, it sounds like high techy, like kind of goofy at first, but then when you watch it, you listen to it with a whole different like context and like feeling. You have different feelings for that song. You're
Something's
like,
about
snap,
to go
here we go
right
again.
down.
Like,
Shitter.
yeah, you look at the movie differently, and I feel like a lot of the movie's greatness is accomplished through like its music. Now, like the music, yeah, it could be like Audio Jungle music, or like
Audio Jungle,
or like Royal Audio Jungle. It'd be great if in the middle of the movie it's like, it's over, Killer Bean, Audio Jungle. But no, it could have been royalty-free music for all we know. But the point is, it was well selected, at least. If that's all we know, it was well selected. It was well placed. It didn't seem too jarring from different like transitioning to different music and different scenes.
Faded in.
Basically, music good. Faded in. Basically music good.
Movie also good.
Movie good.
Okay.
Movie very good. It felt like watching a John Wick
movie. It did a
movie,
lot. Yeah, I've seen John
You ever
Wick.
seen John
Who
Wick?
hasn't? We've got a city to burn, samurai. Anyway, it's
the same people who didn't watch Killer Bean.
all right. It's rating time. Everyone, gather around for our rating of Killer Bean. I don't have drums anymore, at least. All right. Yeah, let's have separate ratings. What was your rating of this movie?
I'd give it 5 beans out of 5
You know
beans.
what? I agree with that rating.
Pretty great movie.
You didn't make the score high enough, so I'm gonna give it 10 beans out of 10 beans, alright?
Okay, you know what? I can't disagree with that either. You just completely shifted the range. Now I look like I didn't enjoy the movie as much, so
Yep,
yeah.
I enjoyed the movie more. You heard this guy? He gave a 5 beans out of, 10? Really? What a fucking bitch. This movie was great. Alright, don't listen to him.
This guy just doesn't understand what art is.
Alright.
Oh, speaking of that, this movie. Oh, one more thought before we end it. And I also have a really special message to Jeff Lewis.
He's not gonna watch.
This movie, I've been studying a lot of stuff about film recently, and the cinematics of the movie actually follow a lot of the rules of film, in like several different, like very differing like cinematic angles are used in key scenes of the movie, which also displays his passion for it. So yeah, any closing thoughts, Ace, before we end it off, before we give a little special message to
movie
Jeff
good,
Lou?
Fortnite bad, Minecraft good, movie good. Have I mentioned movie good yet? Movie good. Fortnite bad.
Movie good.
Fortnite bad. Fire bad.
Fire bad.
Ooh, burn.
Well, thank you guys for listening this. Well, thank you guys for listening to
Hi guys.
this.
Thank you for tuning in.
I know it was kind of all over the place. Thank you for tuning in
To my listening
this.
cast.
Movie good. Welcome to Listen Cast.
Movie
Talk now. No.
Movie
but-
talk now. Ooh. Anyway,
Movie talk now.
shut the fuck up.
$1.95. No. Sorry. The only inconvenience about us recording is that we don't see each other face to face while we're recording, so sometimes we can't pick up when we're about to speak. So if that explains why we kind of interrupt each other every once in a while, it's not on purpose. But anyway, I wanted to say one thing before we close it. Jeff Liu, whatever you're doing out there, I doubt you're listening to this, but if you are, that'd be great. Thank you for making this movie. If anybody ever critiques you on this movie or makes fun of you, they're the spawn of the devil. That's the answer,
spawn of
basically.
Satan.
So, thank you, Jeff Liu. Spawn of Satan, boy.
All right.
That's pretty much it. You got anything else you want to say to Jeff Liu?
Not to Jeff Liu,
himself?
but to the audience. Jeff Liu, you did amazing on this. All right. Give yourself a pat on the back. All right, this was 10 years ago. It was a different time.
10 years.
All right, now my message to the audience, my closing message to the audience. Misa commits several war crimes. Misa sell children.
I do remember that. From the prequels. That was weird.
Yeah, no wonder he got thrown to the side. And for our next time on movie review, the prequels. Goodbye.
The prequels of Killer Bean.